First, we start off with this triangle, okay? Because once I find information out about this triangle, then I know what this point is, right? So this is 30 degrees. This is 45 degrees. And L1 is, they're both 5. This is 5. And this is 5. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my the first triangle coming right off of the origin. And I'm going to say, well, it's a 30-degree angle. We know the sine of 30 degrees is equal to 1/2. And we know the cosine of 30 degrees is equal to the square root of 3/2. So we're going to start with that, and we're going to do really exactly the same thing I did before. This is y, this is x. I'm going to say that the sine, which is 1/2, is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse. The opposite of this angle, the opposite of θ1 is y. We have y over the hypotenuse, we were told, is 5. So multiply both sides by 5, and we get y equals 5/2. And then we do literally the same thing for x, except we use the cosine value. So the cosine is equal to the square root of 3/2, and that's equal to x over 5, which means that x is equal to 5 times the square root of 3/2. Now I found this point right here. So let's call this P of x1, y1. This means that P of x1, comma, y1 is equal to 5 times the square root of 3/2, comma, 5/2. We have a lot of information, but now we have to find the rest, right? I have another triangle here. Let's drop this all the way down to this point. Now, I've just made it right triangle, and I want to know how to figure this out. But as you can see, this line, hold on, this line right here is a continuation, which means that, and this is parallel to this angle right here has got to be 30 degrees, because this angle here is 30 degrees. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Well, now I have a right triangle, and I'm going to pull this right triangle up here. But we can see that this is 30 degrees plus 45 degrees. So this angle here is 75 degrees. So there's something called the sum and difference formula, and I could actually use it for this, so I'm not going to use it for this. I'm just going to get my calculator out. So we want to know what the sine of 75 degrees is. 0.966. Cosine of 75 degrees is 0.259. And what are we going to do? Pretty much exactly the same thing we just did before, but now we have different values. So I know that the sine, which is 0.966, is equal to, I'm going to call this y2, and I can call this x2. I should have called this x1 and y1. So I have another x and y. So I'm going to say this is equal to y2 over the hypotenuse, which again is 5, which gives me y2 is equal to 5 times 0.966, which is 4.83. And again, I'm going to do the same thing with the cosine. I have 0.259 is equal to x2 divided by 5, which means that I'm going to multiply both sides by 5. So x2 is equal to 1.29 something, 1.293. Okay, so 1.29 is fine. Okay, so now I know my x and my y value from, actually, I just know that the length of this, what do I want to do? Let's do this. So I know that the length of this is my x value, and the height from here to here is my y value. But if I want to go, what I really want to know is what this point is. So I have to add my x1, which is this distance here, plus my x2, which is that distance there, and that would give me my total x, right? So I just need to add them together. So let me see, where do I want to put that? So x is equal to 5 times the square root of 3 over 2 plus 1.29. And again, because we have a fraction and we have a radical and we have a decimal, we need our calculator. So this again is another calculator problem, and x would equal, I have it here, hold on, 5.623. 5.623. Actually, let's just keep rounding to 2 decimal places, that's fine. And then hopefully this makes sense that the y value is going to be my y1 height plus my y2 height gives me my final y, right? So I would have y is going to be equal to my 5/2 here, which I already know is 2.5, so I can just change it because I have decimals, plus this y here, which is 4.83, which means my total is 7.33. Hopefully all these numbers are right because I did them. I have them written down. I have them written down from I did it before. So now I have my x and I have my y, which means this point here, which is what I was trying to find, is 5.62, 7.33. And that is basically how I do these problems. Okay. Okay, so this is obviously a longer way to do it. I'm going to put up the solution sheet for this whole worksheet, worked out by somebody else, which has like a formula. And maybe you can use the formula because hopefully you'll understand it now. But I don't think just putting the formula up would have helped you understand anything about what I was doing. So whichever way you would like to. Under normal circumstances, I wouldn't even give you the formula, but that's the way it was shown to me to do, so I'll put it up. And B I already did, so I'm not going to do B. B I did in the other video, part 2 of worksheet 3B, I think is the same oh no, the homework, I did the homework problem for B, yes. So it should be posted. So I'm going to clear all of this. And let's move on to the next problem.